Hi, I just wanted to give a little summary of part of this book, Journey of the Heart by John Welwood. And this has to do with relationship as path. Relationships are not there to save us or to be something to be afraid of. They are opportunities for growth. They're opportunities to discover wounds in ourselves and to heal wounds. And it's really interesting because you can see people that are really successful in life, mentally or physically, but the moment they get into a relationship, they completely lose themselves. They become overly attached or overly afraid or guarded. And so I think it's the great warriors and goddesses' path to be open to love, to not feel afraid of it, and to not cling to it. But relationships bring up a lot of wounds from childhood because they trigger all those places where our parents weren't there for us or engulfed us. So I'm very passionate about helping people in relationship, and I think that's because I never saw my parents have a good relationship. And I always wanted my relationship with my husband to be really good, but he wasn't so on board with nurturing it. So I guess for me, since I don't have my own relationship to nurture, I'm projecting that need onto other people. Like I don't have a relationship to nurture, but I can help you nurture your relationship. And I just think relationships are such beautiful things. At the same time, I get jealous often when I hear people in really happy relationships. A lot of jealousy comes up for me. So I just wanted to be really authentic about that. I like to help people with relationship, but when I see it, I often get kind of triggered into some jealousy as like, I wish I had that too. Yeah, I think it's good to be honest on things. Okay, so obstacles on the path. So John Welwood talks about the first section is abandonment and engulfment, which I had already mentioned. And I will do a little bit of reading and a little bit of talking. At the core of all fears of intimacy is a fear of loss. Okay, so people can be either emotionally avoidant. That's from people who have a fear of loss and contact. When they were children, their parents were neglectful of them. They were neglected or abandoned, so they tend to, I'm sorry, scratch that. There's attachment styles are secure, avoidant, or anxious. So people whose parents did not give them enough love as children, people who felt neglected or abandoned, they have an anxious attachment style. They tend to cling to relationships addictively. They always want their partners to prove their love. And these people will often, and as adults, feel ashamed and disempowered about their desire to connect. They also are afraid that their desire to connect will lead them to feel rejected, so they will start acting as if they will be rejected. They can become demanding, manipulative, or critical when they don't get what they want, and so they push their partner away. And that kind of gets into the idea of acting out a script. You think this is going to happen, so you act in a way that makes it happen. At the other extreme, we have children whose parents were too close, invasive, or controlling. They fear losing themselves. You might have heard of psychic incest. My friend Tranquility, check out her YouTube channel, often talks about this kind of psychic incest where the mother turns to her son for emotional fulfillment because she's dissatisfied with her husband, making the child feel really engulfed. And then we also have the father who tries to keep his daughter's affections all to himself unconsciously. So these people feel being emotionally controlled or smothered by an intimate partner. So they act in a way, anytime their partner wants closeness, they start to feel really overwhelmed and they have to push that person away. Again, these are all unhealthy ways of behaving. So these people are considered avoidant. And interestingly, avoidance and anxious people tend to attract each other. So if this attachment style isn't in the book, I was just adding it in. Then he talks about stories and scripts. So we tell ourselves a story enough times. Love is dangerous, someone can leave me, or love is smothering, I'm going to be engulfed. And these are actual feelings that come up in your body. It's what I help people in my coaching deal with these feelings that are inside of you, really lodged. But there's also a mental component. You tell yourself the story enough times and it becomes a script. And then people get confused because they think it is reality, but they're making it reality. That's why we think our thoughts are reality, but our thoughts create our reality. You may have heard the saying that if you want to see what your thoughts are, look at your life. Okay, the next section, I want to read some of these common examples of stories learned in childhood that set up negative life scripts. Now listen to these, see if any of these resonate with you. I don't deserve love. I have to earn love. I can never get what I really want. I will only be loved if I play hard to get. If others see my need, they'll run away. I don't trust love. It's a form of control. I must save women. I must always be pleasing to men. No one will love me if I show myself as I really am. Wow, that's some deep stuff there. And what happens is that even though these beliefs are painful and these scripts are painful, we keep acting them out and they give us a secure identity. And now I want to bring in Eckhart Tolle. We talk about identity, the conditioned mind, and clinging to our identity. Like, who am I without these thoughts and these feelings? Like, they're so uncomfortable, but that's all I know and they're familiar and I'm going to keep clinging to them. So part of what relationship can do and what this video can do for you, if you notice that you have any of these, just to become aware of them, you can start to let them go and decide that you don't want those anymore. We come to believe that our story accurately represents the way things really are, yet in truth it is only a dream, a conditioned pattern of beliefs that keeps recreating the kind of situation that wounded us in the first place. Until we bring consciousness to bear on what we are doing, we will continually recreate our childhood tragedies throughout our lives. The unresolved issues within us will continually get acted out as conflicts between us and our intimate partners. All right, I have to wrap up this video. I need to go to Pilates. So, which I do 3 times a week. Now, the final section is on projecting and polarizing, is that we disown these parts of ourselves that we feel guilty about, and then we project them onto other people. In any area of life, like if I don't like my needy part and I've sectioned it off, it's also called like the hidden self. If I have disowned that part, it's still in me, then when I see it in other people, I will hate that in them. So if I don't accept my neediness, which everybody has a neediness, everybody has a selfish side, a greedy side. If I can't own my greedy side, I will hate you for being greedy. So let me just read some examples here. Well, in this couple that he gives, the woman was always felt abandoned. Jan felt abandoned and David always felt engulfed. So they had this undergoing relationship struggle where she kept saying, you're abandoning me. And he felt, no, you're being demanding and attacking. And she would say, no, you're abandoning me. And he would say, no, you're engulfing me. Really what they need to do is to say, just to come out and say, if you're in a relationship, you can just come out and say, she could say, I'm feeling abandoned and scared right now. And that would make him feel less defensive. And he could say, I'm feeling overwhelmed and put on the spot, which can disarm her. And also when you come in touch with these needs, you can start healing yourself and doing some inner child work. So on the projecting and polarizing, in disowning parts of ourselves, we make them other, projecting them outside of ourselves. So when my partner expresses something I fear in myself, I may recoil in an exaggerated way. If I am afraid of my anger, hers feels overwhelming. If I can't stand my need, hers makes me feel claustrophobic. I react to my partner's anger or need by pushing her away because I'm afraid to experience these feelings in myself. Consequently, my inner struggle against unwanted parts of myself turns into an outer struggle with her. And I'm going to say this happens to any relationship or anything that you see, the parts in ourselves that we haven't owned or loved. This is the journey, is to love all these parts of ourselves. And you may not want to be a greedy, needy person, but as long as you reject those parts of yourself, you will have this thing in you, this knot, and you will have to keep projecting hate onto other people who have it. So the whole journey is, I'm going to love all these parts of myself that I hate. That doesn't mean that I approve of them, that I want to be that, but I'm going to start loving them, accepting them, and opening to them. And that's part of the healing on the human journey. I hope you liked this video. Contact me for coaching, sign up for my porn page, read my book, The Fuck List, or What I Did for Sex. Email me if you'd like me to answer your relationship questions or have questions about being an escort. If there's a question you'd like me to make for a video, let me know that too. And I just want to say I got my hair cut Wednesday and I love what she did. She made the front like a little bit shorter, you know, and I just love my hair. I never used to like my hair when I was younger because it's very thin, but I just love all the products she puts in and it looks so thick and healthy. For being 59, I'm pretty happy with my look. Thanks for watching my video, you guys.